Now here's a dilemma for you folks. The TV on the left is the brand new 2025 LG C5. But for a very similar price or even less, you can buy last year's 65-inch version of the G4 OLED. But which one should you buy? Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So if you're looking for a TV bargain, then this time of year is perfect because the brand new TVs have just come out and they're at the most expensive, but you can get some amazing deals on last year's 2024s. So for instance, the LG C5 OLED, the list price in the UK at the moment is $18.99 and it's $19.99 in the US. There are some promotions available where you'll get cashback or a soundbar or discount towards a soundbar, for instance. But the LG G4 OLED, the 65-inch version, so a whole 10 inches larger, is actually available for less money in both the UK and the US. Now, this is correct at the time of making this video, the 9th of April, and I'll leave the relevant links in the description so that you can check out the various promotions and the various discounts and hopefully get yourself a deal. But the real question is that bearing that in mind, if you've got around that type of money to spend, well then should you get the latest model or should you go for last year's G4? Well, for me, there's one clear winner. But before I give you my decision, let's look at some comparisons. Now, first of all, let's start off with the brightness. Now, there is a huge jump in brightness on the new LG C5, but it still isn't anywhere near the G4 brightness from last year. I was able to get 1198 nits in filmmaker mode in HDR on a 10% window on the LG C5. However, I was able to get 1402 nits in the same 10% window in filmmaker mode on the LG G4, so there is a significant difference. The processor on the new C5 is the Alpha 9 Generation 8 AI processor, whereas on the G4 it's the Alpha 11 AI processor 4K. Both TVs have the same refresh rate up to 144Hz, but there is a difference in speakers. The C5 has a 40-watt speaker output, yet the G4 has up to 60-watt speaker output. When it comes to gaming, both of these TVs are two of the very best gaming TVs out there, supporting FreeSync, G-Sync, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, and both having Game Optimizer. There is a new difference in the WebOS though, with the new WebOS on the C5 being WebOS 25. It has support for the new personal sound wizard, there's a new AI concierge service, new AI voice control, and an all-new AI chatbot. But I'll go into that in the review of the C5, which will be coming very shortly. Now, in reality, when it comes to actual real-world content, you don't necessarily notice the number difference in the brightness, but there are certainly some scenes when it is very, very obvious. Now, there's a scene coming up now, for instance, where on the left you see the C5, on the right the G4, and when you look at the actual road or the tarmac that they're riding their bikes on, you can definitely see that there is a big difference. And it's in scenes like that that you really see the capability of the extra brightness of the G4. But in a lot of content it is very subtle. Motion, both of these TVs handle motion fantastically, and again I'm not sure whether you can pull out just a little bit of extra brightness coming from the right hand side compared to the left. And when I run the clean colors tests, which I always run on my new TVs just to double check, by the way, I have got a video that if you want to test it on your TV, then I'll leave a link in the description. But here's just plain colors. You get to see whether there's any dirty marks, any burn-in or any screen image retention, and it's a really good way of knowing if your TV is slightly out. Then you can run this type of test and you'll see if there's any retention. I've got a video coming up very shortly of one which is just really bad. Okay, so the TVs, both of these TVs are great, but I do have to say there is, for me, one clear winner. I would without a doubt go for the G4 over the C5, and that's because for me it offers so much more. Not only are you getting the extra size, the 65 inches, but you're also getting that gallery mount style, so it fits so flush against the wall, whereas with the C5, no matter what type of mount that you're going to get, it's never going to get so close, so it always just tilts forward a little bit. Now, the one thing that I would say that if you are going to make this decision, then you do need to make it fairly quickly, because the G4 series or the last year's TVs do not tend to hang around for too long, and sometimes they can actually go up again in price once the new TVs have been out for a few months. So now really is a great time. This is a good image that shows you the difference between the two, and again, it's just very, very noticeable. But it's just a beautiful screen, the G4. It was one of my favorite TVs from last year, and it still is. I've got the G5, which I'll be opening very shortly, and I'll be doing a comparison between the G5 and the G4. But certainly, if you can afford this type of level, then definitely go for the G4 opposed to the C5. Definitely my advice. I think that you won't regret it. And obviously, if you don't have to have the wall mount one, you can go for the one with the stand. Now, one more thing for you to consider: if you haven't quite got the budget for the G4, then why not consider going for the C4? Now, this is going to be featured in an upcoming video that I've got, the C4 versus the C5. So last year's C4 versus this year's C5, and this is a little preview or screen of what those two look like side by side. But there is also a big difference in the price, and potentially you can get an even bigger TV if you go down to the C4, or you can just make a bigger saving. So worth considering that also. Anyway, folks, that's my thoughts on whether you should buy the C5 or go for last year's G4. If you're looking at spending that amount of money, for me, it's a no-brainer. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think I've missed something? Is there something that's drawing you towards the latest C5 compared to last year's G4? But remember, if you are going to be purchasing the G4, then it's not going to be around for that much longer, and so you might have to get on that buying button pretty soon. But if you do, I do think you're getting a bargain. It's such a beautiful TV, and I just don't think that you will regret it. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll leave the links to the various prices that I've seen these TVs, so hopefully you can get the best possible deal. Thanks again for watching, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.